Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming out in the rain. We certainly appreciate that. I am going to call this meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. and in remembrance of Veronica Jones, who loves to hit the gavel. I'm calling the meeting of the February Town Council to order. Prior to our flag salute, I want to make the community aware of the sudden and unexpected passing of former Altadena Town Council member Gloria Sinica at the end of December 2023. Gloria was a council member in Census Tract 460302 and served the council well for 6 years through her departure in December 2020. She was committed to community beautification, food preservation, and sustainability. She served as a representative of Collaborate Pasadena's Leadership Council and taught the West African art of coiling at PCC and at workshops throughout the Alta Pasadena area. We send condolences to her loved ones and open tonight's meeting in her memory with a moment of silence. Thank you so much. Vice Chair Arnzen, please introduce the flag salute.
Thank you. Has Skylar Jones arrived? Officer Boyd, you're up. Officer Boyd from CHP, I have no
Wait,
file.
they're doing Rochambeau for between Lieutenant Batty and...
Please.
Can we all stand? Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much for standing in for her. Okay. Did she just walk in? No? Okay, good. Okay, moving on. Roll call. Recording Secretary Pat Sutherlen.
Like I've never done this before, right? Council members, listen carefully and respond when you hear your names. Thank you. Connor Chipola.
Present.
Victoria Knapp.
Present.
Nic Arnzen.
Present.
Kim Yu.
Present.
Melissa Morona.
Here.
Dorothy Wong.
Here.
John Carmody.
Here.
Chris O'Malley.
Here.
Rob Bryce. Jafina Hall.
Present.
Alan Peck. Pat Sutherland's here. Reginald Wilkins.
Present.
Doug Cauliflower.
Here.
Diane Markison.
I'm here, but I'm not going to push this button again. He said you want to get so you can check it.
Okay, it's working now.
And
I'm here.
And Sylvia Vega.
I'm not sure where Sylvia is.
Oops. No? Okay. We do have a quorum.
Thank you. Vice Chair Arnzen, the agenda.
Good evening, fellow council members and community members. There are agendas at the back of the room on the table. Also, there are public comment cards. The council welcomes input from the community on both agendized and non-agendized items. If you'd like to make a comment, please fill out the comment cards in the back and bring them to either end of the tables here. While we do not respond to public comment during the meeting, if you would like a response, and I've gotten 3 already here, please be sure to put a phone number on there. And if you know your census tract, otherwise be sure to put your address and I'll find it for you. And we will have your council member reach out to you. This process is in place to ensure that everyone wishing to make public comment has the time to do so and that we can conduct the meeting in an orderly fashion. Council members, the Altadena Town Council Executive Committee met on Tuesday, February 13th to set the agenda for tonight's meeting. The agenda was circulated to you on Thursday, February 15th. I do have one quick correction. Under public safety reports, please strike item 3.4, the forestry report, as they were unable to join us. I received no other corrections, but I think there might be some changes tonight. Are there any?
We are going to switch the order of committee reports. So 6.1 will be safe streets and 6.2 will be land use. And Councilmember Wong has somebody giving the safe streets report, and she can tell you who that is.
Additionally, please strike 4.3, Altadena Historical Society.
And 6.3.
Oh,
Thank you.
She
We
has no
have,
voice.
So 6.3, she
uh,
can't.
8.2. Is that right?
The legislative committee.
Oh, right. And Melissa, I believe you were doing your census tract report. Should I strike that as well? Dorothy will. All right.
And then Dorothy's not in meeting. Give us just a second. She has lost her voice completely. No census tract. So strike 460301. And then Councilmember Wong, who is the person who'll give the Safe Streets report?
That will be Tom Riley.
Are there any others? For your review, we are striking 3.4. We are striking 4.3. We are striking 6.3. And we are striking 8.2. We are switching 6.1 and 6.2. And Safe Streets now 6.1. The report will be given by Tom Riley. Are there any others? Seeing none, I move that we approve the minutes, the agenda as with changes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Can we, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposing or abstaining? No. Okay. And, okay, moving on to the chair's report. This month, we celebrate Black history. We call to mind and honor the many profound contributions of Black Americans throughout our nation's history and today. We acknowledge their legacies right here in Altadena. There have been a number of rich, colorful, educational, and celebratory events throughout Altadena this month, and there are more scheduled through the end of this month. Many of those events can be found on the Altadena Library's main website calendar. Also, I wanted to take a moment to appoint Dr. Reginald Wilkins as chair of the Altadena Town Council's Filming Committee. He will be joined by Councilmember Wu and advised by former Filming Committee member, Councilmember Sutherlen. If you are interested in joining the committee, please reach out to him, and you can find his town council email address on altadenatowncouncil.org. I am turning it over to Councilmember Arnzen for his vice chair report.
Thank you, Chair. We continue to celebrate Black History Month. I think the sheer number of events happening in town goes to show how vital it is to uncover hidden histories in Altadena and beyond. In the interest of time, I want to remark on just a couple of those incredible events that have already taken place from this past weekend. My apologies for those I don't mention. On Saturday, the Pasadena Black History Parade once again began on Upper Fair Oaks Boulevard in Altadena. The parade had incredible representation from our local schools and organizations marking their 42nd year. The theme was appropriately attributed to the life and legacy of Jackie Robinson. Also this past Sunday, the Altadena Baptist Church marked their 40th Black History celebration, where Charmaine Jefferson spoke eloquently and personally on the importance of uncovering Black history. She reflected on the journey of her own ancestors as they move forward out of slavery and her personal connections to the Woodson family. In particular, Charmaine spoke of her deep roots the Riddle family has in Pasadena and Altadena community. It was such an education, and it was really an honor to hear her speak on this. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnzen. Moving on to Recording Secretary Pat Sutherlen.
Council members, you received the minutes from the January 16th meeting last week. I did not receive any omissions or corrections. Are there any that someone's thought of since then and would like to share? In that case, I move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone abstaining who wasn't here last month? That's
Abstain.
one abstention. Anyone not approving? Great. Okay, moving on, we have our treasurer's report with Councilmember Chris O'Malley.
Thank you. We began the month of January with $1,173.97 in our checking account. We had $129.99 worth of withdrawals, and I wasn't able to get down there in time to get the deposits in, so this month will be real big. We ended our balance with $1,043.98, and that is my report. Oh, that's almost my report. I always forget. The Altadena Town Council is a volunteer organization that depends on the kindness of our residents and generosity that accompanies it to fund all of the things that we do. If you could see your way to putting $1 or $2 in the can, we would all very much appreciate it. And whoever gets it last on this side, if you can give it to Councilmember Reggie here, I would very much appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember O'Malley. Corresponding Secretary Dorothy Wong.
Thank you, Chair Knapp. So my report is really about all the amazing events coming up soon. And you can always send me an email, dorothy.wong@altadenatowncouncil.org, if you would like to add any information to share with our community. So some highlights coming up. Oh, it's already tomorrow, February 21st. The 5th District Supervisor Candidate Forum will be going on at Loma Alta Park. It's in the upper social hall. And then starting February 24th, you can start early voting. So there will be vote centers. If you haven't gotten that, we'll post more of that. But Franklin Elementary School campus, Altadena Community Center, Red Hen Press Literary Center are also places, and Charles Farnsworth Park are places where you can vote between March 2nd and March 5th at those locations. And Farnsworth Park, you can start as early as the 24th. That's for also the general election, early primary election. But anyway, so check out the forum tomorrow. Also, the deadline for the urban forest planning for trees is February 29th. So I'll make sure that's on the website that you can check out. Also, make sure February 26th, go to Jackson Elementary, and there is amazing garden days going on throughout the month. UWS is doing their annual cleanup event. And you should have all received postcards at your house. It's a free event, and you can place your items on the curb by 6 a.m. of the scheduled event date. So depending on your trash pickup date will correspond to a Saturday pickup date. And of course, this is not for motor oil, household cleaners, paint. Go to cleanla.com for those hazardous waste drive-through collection events.
Councilmember
And-
Wong, when does that start? Which is the first Saturday?
Sure. It starts March 2nd, and then it will go through the end of March. So Monday pickups is March 2nd, Tuesday pickups is March 9th, Wednesday pickups is March 16th, Thursday pickups is March 23rd, and Friday pickup day is March 30th. So we'll also post that on the website. And then I just wanted to thank everybody that volunteered at the Greater LA Homeless Count for Altadena in January. We had a very successful event. We had a lot of great contributions from council members and our community. And so the results of that will be coming out this summer. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Wong. Moving on to our public safety reports, I know that in place of Captain Williams, we have Lieutenant Petit from the Altadena Sheriff's Station.
Good evening. Let's see, we'll start off with our some crime stats that we had for the month. Looks like we had a good month. A lot of our crime stats were down. Aggravated assaults were down 6%. Our property crimes were down 26%. And again, we've had some success with our vehicle burgs. Those are down almost 45%. Because we've implemented a lot of crime strategies, and it seems to be working. So again, keep doing what you guys are doing. Every week or every month we advise everyone to make sure you lock your cars. Don't leave purses or cell phones or money in plain sight in the front seat of the vehicles. And it seems to be working. We've also implemented extra patrol checks around the trails where we've seen a lot of the vehicle burgs happening over the year. One thing is our residential burgs are up. So we would suggest for people, for residents to maybe get cameras, alarm systems, improve your lighting in front of the house and as well as in the back of the house. And also, if you guys see any kind of suspicious activity, call us, report it. We did have a shooting on January 25th off of Figueroa and Lincoln, where an individual was shot. He is doing okay, and an arrest was made, I believe, last week in that incident. Gun was recovered as well. Some events we have coming up are drug take back, which is on April 27th. And also we just finished our first Citizens Academy, where we had actually five people, and it was 6 weeks, and we covered things like our SEC is our Sheriff Communication Center. We showed them how that works. We went over some search and rescue strategies that we implement. Also, we discussed some high-risk scenarios. We also had our mental evaluation team come out and do some training for them as well. One thing that our sheriff is trying to push is our sorts system. Our sorts system is called the Sheriff Online Reporting Tracking System. And this is a way for citizens who want to get reports for lost property, lost cell phones, or misdemeanor crimes like vandalisms, petty thefts, anything under $950. You guys can actually go online and fill it out yourselves, and it's an easier and quicker way to get it done, rather than coming to the station or having, inconveniencing yourself waiting for a patrol car to come to the station. And I believe that is it. Anyone have any questions?
Is the sort system an app, or is it a website, or?
It is a website. You can go on the LASD website and look up reports and sorts. And click on sorts, and it'll give instructions on how to fill it out.
Does anyone have any questions for the lieutenant?
Regarding the residential, was that including like Amazon delivery packages and packages that like stolen from someone's property, or what is that?
No, that would include like entry. Residential burglaries are actually entry into the homes. Yes. So that would be, depending on what was stolen, that would be like grand thefts or like, again, petty thefts.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so one of my neighbors, they actually got their home broken into from the back gate.
Yeah.
But my question was, right in front of his house was probably a faded neighborhood watch sign.
Okay.
So do you guys still have some neighborhood watch signs?
You know, I'll have to look into that. I believe,
'Cause I think you were
That was a-
running out at the time.
yeah, I believe that was a question that was asked last month. I think our community deputy did receive some, so I can look into that for you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much, and please send our hellos to the captain. Also, if there is an update on Sheriff Luna wanting to come to the meeting or have a meet and greet, that would
Yes.
be great to also know.
Yes, and Captain Jabari Williams is always trying to get him here. Believe me, trust me.
I believe you.
All right.
Thank you so much. Okay, CHP, I think we've got a special guest, and we have Officer Boyd to introduce him as well.
Well, good evening, everyone, Chair and the council members, committee members. Captain Mariano Santiago. I go by March, like the month of March. And I just reported to Altadena area January 31st, so really brand new, getting acclimated. Just for everyone's info, I came from Exposition Park, and not a lot of people know that the Highway Patrol oversees the Department of Public Safety. And we also collaborate with the community, with LAPD and park entities. Prior to that, I had my experience in East LA. Did 3 years as a lieutenant and also in Bakersfield. So I'm excited seeing the community, the council members, that you are actively involved with the community, and that's what we want to do. And so I look forward to the continued collaboration with everyone. Just let me know what your concerns are. I cannot promise everything, but I promise that I will collaborate with all of you and make things happen.
Welcome to Altadena Station. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you taking time to come out here tonight.
My pleasure.
Is it Captain March? Do we just call, how do you want us to refer to you?
March is fine.
March is fine. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Lieutenant Boyd, you've got nothing or Officer Boyd, you got nothing for us? The pledge did you in, right? That was all you had
That's all
capacity for?
You need it from me. Good evening. I haven't had a chance to, it's my first time being here this year. So those of you who are returning, welcome back, and new roles, congratulations. And those who are been onboarded with the council, welcome. I'm in place of Officer Bay and Jeremy. They're preoccupied with other obligations. I do have some stats that they've given me. I do apologize in advance for not having answers to some questions regarding traffic enforcement around schools. If you do have something that you would like me to relay to them, or if you do have their emails, feel free to contact them. They're excellent at getting back, and I know they are, at least I believe they are being proactive with a lot of the patrolling around schools and neighborhood concerns. That being said, for the month of January, the crashes that were investigated in our community were a total of 27, and 6 of those were with injury. 4 of those were regarding hit and run collisions, one being a pedestrian collision crash, and no bicyclist crashes. I do also have a stat for, that's for a different community. Nonetheless, so 27 in total, and still quite too many, but we're doing our best to have Officer Keller and Bay get out there and patrol our communities to hopefully make them safer, and then collaborating with Ms. Wong on some of the efforts to not just educate from an enforcement standpoint, but actually put on different campaigns and presentations to help get the word out there on just how we can, from a pedestrian motorist standpoint, collaborate to make our community safer. We, with the rains and the inclement weather, we try to, on our Instagram page, put out different safety messages. There was a message today, and just by way of reminder, when we're driving in inclement conditions such as wet roads, a few things to keep in mind is, your tire tread, making sure you have some tread on your tires because that plays a factor, and losing traction on the road. Your vehicle speed, obviously, the faster you go, the more you have an opportunity to lose traction. Some traffic experts say that speeds over 35 miles per hour increase the chances of hydroplaning. And so if you don't have tread on your tires, you can imagine what happens. And the water depth, obviously, the more wet the roads are, and the deeper the water, the increased chances of you losing traction, and even in low depth. So just something to keep in mind as the roads are wet when it does rain. Other than that, any questions?
Any questions? Go ahead.
I just had a quick one. Is there such a thing as classes or safety, classes, I guess, to teach people how to cross the street? Not a joke, you guys, not a joke. I grew up learning to drive defensively, and I think that people need to learn to cross crosswalks defensively. And it seems like people really don't, a lot of people don't know. I think crosswalks are a death trap. So, because people just think they're invincible. So, but is there some kind of a program or something where even kids learn how to cross with crosswalks?
Yes.
Oh.
There is. There's several programs and presentations that we do have for our department that we put on geared toward our more wise generation and our younger generation. So.
I'm wise. I see. I'm wise. Okay.
We do have programs. So if you have Officer Bay or Keller's email, I also have some cards. I can give you my email and we
Go
can,
through them to find more info.
or I can give you my card with email, and then we can collaborate and see which presentation fits best.
Yeah. I know. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that, Diane, because I do want to mention, sometimes we have the traffic studies and we shy away from putting a sidewalk in for that very purpose, like Altadena Drive. I get a lot of complaints that it would be a simple fix, especially at Santa Rosa, to just put the sidewalk in, but it could be a crosswalk. It could be a death trap because people get this false sense of security. I do have a request. Since the captain is here, I'll take advantage of asking the captain. I'm going to go back to a tune that people here might be bored of me going to, but Edward Bronstein. While there has been a civil agreement, I'm still waiting to hear. I'd love to get some sort of update because I'm not able to find it online to see what's happening with the court case. The last I heard in July, Edward was the one who passed away in CHP custody at our station here. And there has been a civil award, but I'm just curious, and maybe you have the answer today, but I'd just love to get some sort of update on what's happening since what was supposed to be a hearing last July. And I was asking through the fall, but there didn't seem to be any updates to be had, which might be the case now.
Yeah, well, I don't have any update other than they were supposed to have, I believe, a hearing like the first week of February. But other than that, I have not received anything, Like I said, I'm still trying to reach out to them also and find out. I haven't really talked to all of them, so.
And I've seemed to tap out what I know are my resources to find out updates, public information on those hearings. Do you have any guidance or anything you can email or send me?
Well, at this point, any inquiry would be directed to the DA's office because it's off our purview. I mean, it's out of the Highway Patrol. It's pretty much under the DA's office. So if any inquiries, I would suggest just reaching out to them, and they probably give you more info than me.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Councilmember Wong?
And this is for everybody, actually. In everything that was just asked by Diane, again, safety, education, encouragement types of programs, we did want to thank you. I just found this published last week in Go Human, Southern California Association of Governments, which was our demonstration where we collaborated with Public Works at Loma Alta Park, collaborated with the park, and we had a demonstration event. Do you remember? You handed out stuff to the kids at the farmers market, Altadena
Yes.
Neighborhood Farmers Market. And so anyway, so you guys are published here. And then we did the little challenge with
Officer Keller?
Officer Keller
Yes.
with the bike skills course. So thank you.
Our pleasure.
Any other questions? Oops, sorry. I have one question. I know that the principal of Elliott had a meeting with Officer Bay regarding the congested traffic and pedestrian safety on Boston. I just saw her this morning, the principal, and she mentioned that a volunteer CHP person came out to assist at that corner during drop-off, and she just wasn't sure, like what sort of capacity you have volunteers or deploy them into the community. And I hadn't heard that either.
So it's a wonderful program that we have through the Highway Patrol Senior Volunteer Program. Anyone interested in volunteering. And we utilize them in various capacities when it comes to school patrol. They're there for a visual presence. You know, you see a patrol vehicle, at least as I remember, people tend to behave a little bit better when they see that. And then they're just an extra set of eyes. So a lot of the concerns that we get from our members, you know, you have 2 dedicated officers that can't be at all places at all times. So we try to deploy those extra set of eyes to give us kind of some insights on what they see. And then we can allocate Officer Bay and Keller to those areas of concern and address the issues that those volunteers are seeing. So it's kind of a multifaceted way in which we use those volunteers.
That's great, and we appreciate them, and we appreciate him going out to meet with her. Thank you so much. Any other questions? We're good? Great. Thank you guys so much. Please be safe out there. Okay, moving on to LA County Fire, Maria Grycan. Oh, and I see Battalion Chief Sprangel.
You demoted him. He's assistant chief.
It's okay.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Don't tell the battalion chief.
Okay, for the month of January, total of 389 responses in Altadena. 317 of those were for medical calls, and we transported 247 patients. 11 traffic collisions during the month, including one on January 13th in the 400 block of Mariposa Street, which was versus pedestrian. And that one was, if I remember correctly, it was a car backing up. I don't know if they were backing up out of a driveway but it was a car backing up and hit the pedestrian. So it was going at a slow speed. And the pedestrian refused transport on that one. We had 5 instances of power lines down throughout the month. We had 4 service calls, 63 good intent calls, and best of all, no fires.
The rain helps.
Too wet. Actually, don't say I've seen fires in the rain. It's weird. But I've seen it happen. That's it. Oh, we have our safety tip of the month is on carbon monoxide poisoning. Carbon monoxide, or CO, is known as the silent killer because it is an odorless, tasteless gas that cannot be seen. CO poisoning can result from faulty furnaces or other heating appliances, clothes dryers, or cars left running in garages. Some symptoms of CO poisoning include headaches, nausea, and drowsiness. And exposure to undetected high levels of CO can be fatal. To avoid CO poisoning, ensure that all of your fuel-burning vented equipment is vented to the outside. Keep the venting for exhaust clear and unblocked, and do not leave your car running in the garage, even if the garage doors are open. Are there any questions?
I don't have a question. I have a thank you from Veronica Jones and to the fire department for the Toys for Tots. You brought us those incredible batch,
she sent me a
and they
lovely
were
picture.
handed on to kids who really appreciated and needed them. Thank you.
Always happy to help.
And I also wanted to say that the NOAA weather station works very well.
Did you get
And
your alerts?
We've gotten many alerts, and my kids freak out, but now they've gotten used to it. It's been quite a situation. At some point during the last round of storms, I did unplug it for a minute because it was a lot. But it's really very effective.
Yeah, just don't forget to turn it back on.
Yes,
once
and it
already.
is on now. And I hope that Councilmember Markuson has hers going too, since I borrowed hers forever.
My dogs are wise, so they're deaf, so they do not get upset by the.
Anything else? Go ahead, Councilmember Wong.
Oh, just quickly, the Pulse Point is also an amazing app.
Yes.
So I don't know if anything's changing or it's just moving perfectly along, but everyone should be aware that Pulse Point is an amazing app for us to kind of see what's going on.
Yeah, Pulse Point is an app, and it's just called Pulse Point. There are two. There's Pulse Point and Pulse Point AED. You want just Pulse Point. And then you follow Los Angeles County Fire Department Division 3. That's what we are in. And it's a wonderful app. It allows you, like, if you were to hear sirens in the area or something, you can open up the app and you can see where firefighters are responding. If they're responding to a traffic collision or a medical call or a fire or what they're doing. So if you're curious about, I hear sirens, I wonder where they're going, you can open up the app and it'll tell you. It won't tell you just Altadena specific. It will be for anywhere in Division 3. But Altadena is in Division 3.
You can also set it, for those of us that are Pasadena adjacent, you can also set it for Pasadena Fire.
Oh, Pasadena's on it as well?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so go into your app store, and it's we get questions about it all the time, because whenever I see something that's of import, whether it's a structure fire or a technical rescue, we see those now. We didn't used to see those before. We see rope rescues. There's many elevator rescues. Who knew how many people get caught in Pasadena in elevators? But it's really great because it helps people know what areas to avoid, and it gives you a little bit of information about what's going on, especially when we hear helicopters and things that are going on for rescues in the canyon. So very good. Thank you so much.
Chief?
Thank you, Maria.
Assistant Battalion Chief Sprangle.
It's actually,
Make that up again? I don't know.
it's
Someone
actually
give me the
Assistant
right
Chief,
name.
But as Maria always reminds me, she's still my boss. So
Yes, she's all of our
regardless
bosses.
of what you call me, she's still my boss. So the only thing that I would add is with the recent rains, we've been doing really well, and hopefully we're getting close. But I still think there's going to be some more coming this season. So we do have sandbags, Fire Station 11 here, Fire Station 12, and then also Camp 2. We've just recently added sand here to Fire Station 11, so the availability of sand is there. Only bags at Fire Station 12, but Camp 2 also has both sand and sandbags.
What is Camp 2?
Camp 2 is one of our fire camps. It sits just below JPL, so it's adjacent here and easy to get to. It kind of sits between Hahamunga Park and JPL. The access there is off of Oak Grove. And again, they have a large, ample amount of sand and sandbags. And so if there's a need there, please stop by there and we'll get you some bags and try to work through the season here.
Is that generally the best course? Because it did come up at the beginning of the last set of storms where there was sand, where there were sandbags, and where they could get both. Is it just best to show up versus try to call? I think that, what's the direction?
I think you can just show up,
sandbags?
and if personnel are there, they'll assist you in loading those bags. And we just like to have the availability there for the residents because it's usually an afterthought for most residents, and at least they can, if they're in a real need, they can certainly stop by there. And we always keep those areas full of sand and bags so that kind of plan ahead so that we don't get caught behind the curve.
That's great.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Good to
Thank
see you.
Yeah, good seeing you guys. Thank you.
Guillermo, are you here by any chance? Is anybody from Parks and Rec here? No. Okay. They sent a PowerPoint? Okay. How do we want to, do you want to post it?
Yeah.
Sorry, we don't have a rep from Parks and Rec here, although we were expecting Guillermo to be here. So we will take their PowerPoint and add it to the Altadena Town Council website so you can access the upcoming programming at our parks. Okay. Sure.
Chamber of Commerce is unable to make it. She informed us, but she had something she wanted us to share. I'll also point out, did anybody from Altadena Historical Society come? I did put, they're looking for more board members and actually a chair. So if this is something of interest to you, the Historical Society does amazing stuff. There's information about what they do and information on how to apply in the back. From Chamber, due to weather, she will not be coming. She wanted me to share Thursday, February 29th from 1 to 2 p.m. That's Thursday, the 29th, is Alzheimer's disease, a community conversation with Dr. Cosette Lyons-Jones. There's webinar information, and she wanted us to refer to the community to the Chamber website for all of that, for that and other upcoming events. That's altadenachamber.org. That's it from Judy. Thank you, Chair.
Great. Okay, so with that, we have our special presentation from LA County Public Works on the Washington Altadena Drive Road Improvement Project. Do you need a second to warm up? Okay.
I'll let you. Thank you. How long does this warm-up take?
We only need 30 seconds
Oh, okay.
versus 30 minutes of warm-up. We'll see. Oh, look at that. It's ready to go.
It's ready to go.
Great. Okay.
Are you running away?
No, I'm going to go sit here so I can see.
Oh. No. Well, good evening, council members. I'm Chuck Vasica with the county's Public Works Department. I wanted to bring you up to date on what's happening with my favorite project, the Altadena Drive and Washington Boulevard roadway improvement. This project itself will reconstruct the failing pavement on Washington Boulevard and on Altadena, north of New York Drive. On Washington, it's from the county line east of Altadena to almost, oh God, why can't I think of it? I'm having a senior moment. Just, oh, sorry, thank you, wise moment. Almost Allen. Primarily, the focus of the project is the repair and reconstruction of the roadway itself, but at the same time, we'll take advantage of the contractor and have him take care of damaged curbs. I think there's a few areas of sidewalk, gutters, mostly the curb ramps, bring those up to date. An element of the project also includes modification of the existing traffic signals. There's a storm drain extension that occurs within the project. And then probably the most noticeable thing to folks will be the conversion of the existing crosswalks to continental crosswalks. So, next slide, please. Now, again, this project focuses primarily on the repair of the pavement. As such, it does not, the project will not be including any bike lanes, but I wanted to make sure that you're aware that there is an existing, or there's an update process in place or going on now to update the county's bicycle master plan. We do have a reference to a website that you could visit to get the current status of that. In addition, new safety improvements are being studied currently, and we do have Elaine Kunitaki and Mary Reyes are our leads, and I don't know if Elaine is here. Oh, look at that. So, and her contact info is up there as well. So, like I say, those studies are underway. As far as the roadway improvements, you can see, there we go. Belford to just east of Altadena on Washington Boulevard will be reconstructed. On Altadena north of New York Drive to the upper intersection with Canyon Close will be reconstructed. And the portion of Altadena Drive between New York Drive and basically Washington Boulevard will get a seal coating. That pavement itself is not failed, but will give a complete picture. On the next slide, you can see project benefits. Obviously, you'll decrease the wear and tear on your vehicles, which will also improve the quality of life, not only for your vehicle, but for residents. And then our repaving process, we do a lot of recycling, so we'll have that element in there as well. And in fact, that recycling also results in cost savings. On the next slide, of course, all these wonderful improvements come at a cost. And unfortunately, you will end up with some temporary lane closures. That also would include temporary driveway disruptions. Also some temporary street parking closures. And reduced speeds in construction zones, which then leads to some traffic delays. But the overall benefit, as you can see on the next slide, is some beautiful new roads. I don't know, maybe you guys don't get as excited about that as I do. On the next slide, you can see our project schedule. We've progressed from final plans. We've gone through the bidding process. In fact, we have awarded a construction contract. We're now beginning the process of working with the contractor on submittals, schedule, that type of thing. We're expecting to get underway before the end of May. Now, the project itself will take about a year. It's just the way that goes, unfortunately. Wanted to include this picture. This is obviously not Altadena, but this is a situation where we were reconstructing curb ramps. We'll only do one intersection at a time. And you can see here that a temporary asphalt ramp is put in ahead of the reconstruction work for pedestrians. They can cross the street, and a similar situation on the other side. So you'll have pedestrian access this way while the curb ramps are being reconstructed. On the next slide, we have coordinated with Webster Elementary School. They have their summer break, June 1st to June 16th, and during that period, the contractor will focus on that piece of roadway, do the concrete work, the sidewalk, curb ramps, that type of thing, and reconstruct the parking lane and the number 2 lane, which is the lane adjacent to the parking. So that'll be reconstructed out of the normal sequence, but it'll be done so that when school starts up in the fall, you'll have that work done. The plan is to do a top lift of asphalt. That new asphalt would be depressed by 1.5 inches. The plan is when we're all done with reconstructing the entire roadway, the contractor would come through and put that top 1.5 inches of asphalt on the entire street end to end, and then that gets striped, so you'll end up with a street that's essentially all done at once. And then from there, we do have yet another community meeting where we want to get into the details of construction. It's scheduled for April 11th here at the community center. I've already told the contractor I want him present so that we can get into construction details and schedule at that point with folks so they can find out exactly what's going to happen and where, when and where. In addition, the project itself, and it shows up on the next slide, has a dedicated helpline. We also have a dedicated website and a dedicated email for the project, all of which you can use to contact us, and we'll get back to you in that on any questions that may come up. With that, again, I'm Chuck Vasica, I'm the project manager. I have with me my senior project manager, Lisa Wong, and we have some of our construction managers as well. So we're off and running. This thing is about to happen. Well, May, but from my perspective, it's virtually happening. Do we have any questions?
So you're starting at Webster, and then are you just moving east from there? Is that the way that it's going to progress?
At Webster, that was going to be in the second phase. Unfortunately, with accommodating the school, we'll end up starting there. The idea was to do the concrete work on one side of the street, do the concrete work on the other, come back and do the asphalt. And with this contractor that we have, they're a big company. They could handle multiple things. I just don't want to have too much of the road under construction at any one time. So that we will start now on the north side, start on the west end, start on the concrete. The concrete could progress easterly, but I do want them to come back and get that asphalt done in the parking and the adjoining travel lane before summer session is, or summer break is done. Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
No, it's just because we have so many businesses on the north side of the street and just wanted to get an idea of timing on how that will affect them.
Yeah. Again, that with the contractor hasn't submitted his schedule yet, but what I'm expecting is we do a couple of blocks at a time and just move easterly, come back to the south side, and then ultimately, after the north side and the south side the pavement's been reconstructed, then we have a travel lane in each direction then, and we can come back and do the middle.
Councilmember Chipola?
Yes.
Last time we heard about this project, there was a small gap right around Canyon Close. There was a small gap right around Canyon Close with some work that had just been done 6 months ago, and this project coming up that wasn't going to get covered by either. Were you guys able to incorporate that section?
I understood that the overlay work that was done last summer ends where we'll come up and butt to it.
Yeah, there was a jurisdiction issue about the north lane
With Pasadena.
with Pasadena, and whose contract
With the
that
city
is.
of Pasadena. And I sent video
okay.
was it Tom or whomever was here at our in-person meeting to show, it's a 3/4 mile stretch on the sort of east side of New York Drive, or Altadena Drive, coming north from New York.
Okay, yeah, so they didn't overlay all the way to the edge of the road to the east side. Yeah, no, I don't know if that's been resolved. At the community meeting we had here last month, there were representatives from Pasadena, and I hadn't heard if they had done anything, to be honest.
Yeah, he said they were going to look into it, but he didn't have a resolution. So I will circle back around with him because this is the time to get it done for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Councilmember Wong, are you going to?
Hello. So again, thank you for the presentation and the learning that we did through a couple of our Safe Streets Committee meetings. Diane was also there, and so I'd love to hear any input. But ultimately, we did go out and do one sort of walk with our Safe Streets Committee, and then also Pasadena residents who also were part of Pasadena Complete Streets, where we're really looking at how we can connect their greenways, and our bicycle master plan is going through its first update. So just for the public and all of us through this learning process, I think it's really important for us to take a little deeper dive in looking at it. So while we were out there, we watched bicyclists who didn't feel safe crossing the road, so they were riding on the sidewalk, right? And just identifying some of those things, and then thinking about the potential of safe routes to schools that might be able to help as the county is going into, both Vision Zero and safe routes to schools funding, that maybe there can be a way to find some of that to come back to Altadena schools. Would be meaningful in the long run. And our number one, looking at the crossings, they're all where bus stops are. So people will have to cross the street based on the direction that they're going. So how we can, we do have some information that we're, trying to put together to work with Public Works to see how, and Diane, to see how we might be able to successfully cross the street safely, and look at those things. And then the ADA curbing, I guess that might be, I probably have the most, that really gets to me, because I see that if we have the current curbing will take you out into the roadway right where the 7-Eleven is and the McDonald's. So thinking how we can help pedestrians, because right now if we're rebuilding them the same way with some ADA compliance, how we can also protect the pedestrian who has to walk into the street to then find their way into the crosswalk. And if you just look at the amount of cars that are coming in and out of the 7-Eleven, honestly, the McDonald's almost seems more orderly than the 7-Eleven. And then the heat, thinking about the trees and the different types of trees that might be able to also offer shade, the north side where, again, the transit stops are. So I think this is a road project, I know. That's what it had more to it before. But we also did see some amazing ways to connect to future bike projects, or ways that we can think about making it safer to cross the street. So I hope that we can continue some of that dialogue in this short amount of time to come up with some solutions.
Yeah, so one of the things that we talked about, Dorothy and I haven't actually seen, so I know there's a meeting coming up, but that I don't see a lot of us documenting. Maybe I'm not getting copied on it or anything, but like when you did the Safe Streets audit, then we should be publishing that to the county in a sort of measured way so that we can, we do a lot of, even in meetings, saying, hey, we want this, we want that, and it'll be a lot easier and more effective, I think, personally, my experience with the county, to put it in writing and have us keep track of it.
Yeah.
I didn't get any comments from the committee,
So we are we're going to bring Tom up soon for a Safe Streets meeting. But we're definitely starting to
Okay, yeah.
correlate what we have to then.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is that we're telling you things, but I think what we really need to do is put them in and then get them to the right people.
Yes.
Because it's not pavement.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's all. Thanks.
Okay, any other questions for Chuck before we let him go with our thanks? Okay, so we will be seeing you up in this neck of the woods.
Oh, yeah.
We appreciate it. Thanks so much,
Thank
Chuck.
you so
Thanks so
much
much,
for your
Lisa,
attention.
for being here, too. Okay, we are going to roll into our community reports, and we're going to start with Safe Streets, and Tom is going to give that update. Safe Streets Committee.
While Tom is walking up, just really quickly, our Safe Streets meeting is Thursday via Zoom. And we can basically, you'll be able to see that on the town council website. And I'm going to head over to the slideshow.
Okay, good evening. Thank you, members of the Town Council. I'm Tom Riley. I'm a resident and have been involved with the Safe Streets Committee. I've been involved with some of the other county projects in the area, whether they be parks or road improvements, based on my past life as a planner with the county and various cities. I'm also on the Bicycle Advisory Committee, so the Bike Master Plan, I'm one of the local representatives on that. So this is kind of right in my bailiwick and my passion to see not only recreational cycling, which I enjoy, but also getting to use it more as an ATP. There's just 3 slides, so I'll be real quick. I think Dorothy gave me a minute or two. So the committee was recently invited by the county, Public Works, to look at the plans in detail, and I appreciate Ms. Markison's comments that, you know, as a planner, I can read plans, I like to mark them up and think about them, but more importantly, we had a group, as Dorothy mentioned, we had a couple members of our committee and a couple members from a similar committee in Pasadena, and we met up just a week ago, so we haven't finished our write-up yet, but we're well into it. And we did it, you know, walking and biking. Along the way, as Dorothy mentioned, a gentleman joined us, and he's a regular cyclist who admitted he usually avoids Washington Street because of the amount of traffic. So I don't know if that's just okay, it's not quite as blurry as it when I put my glasses on. So, so the context, what I wanted to do is kind of give this little corner of Altadena, and this is the existing bicycle master plan. The magenta is class 2 bike trails going into the city. We'll use my glasses here. Some of the key takeaways, both from past meetings and our evaluation last week. The diamond number 45, that is Washington Boulevard. As we've understood that it's not going to have bike lanes at this time. So we took the plans and we looked at what can be done along that corridor to make biking and walking along there or across there better. I highlighted here Altadena Drive, New York Avenue at the top as a key intersection of just getting through. Often it's really mostly about the intersections and getting safely through those. This project, as Chuck has mentioned, is putting in new signals where there are signals already. I noticed, as on New York, the signals have video detection. I mean, not a lot of people know that you're picked up in your car that way, but they can be mapped out and dialed in to pick up us bikes. And they are doing that, by the way. I credit to the traffic folks for making that happen. The other key intersection is Altadena Drive, Washington Boulevard, to get through that. So while we understand the area indicated by number 45 is not going to have bike lanes, we do want to impress on people it's a critical corridor to get people down to points south and east of Altadena, which I guess the next slide would be appropriate here. We have the Greenways network, which the county has put together with their water resources group. Eaton Canyon's up at the top. That's Altadena. That's Washington Drive is in yellow, and the red is a new proposed Class 1. That's kind of the best type of separated bikeway that would go up into the debris basin, and pedestrians would be able to go further up into Eaton Canyon, which, as we all know, that area gets congested at Altadena, New York, with pedestrians. So this would be a whole other way to get into Eaton Canyon, to get to New York if you're a bike commuter, but more importantly, to the south. And as that red or magenta line goes south past the 2, 3, and 4, it keeps going to Rio Hondo and onto the San Gabriel River Bike Plan. And this is just one little segment of a huge network here in the San Gabriel Valley. It's in the environmental planning stage, so it's not going to happen next year, but in the next 5, 10 years, there's going to be portions of that we believe that the county is going to proceed with. Some of the Pasadena high schools on the left there and Victory Park, I mean, imagine being able to get from all parts of Altadena along our network and getting to the farmers market on Saturday. We already have our farmers market, but this is kind of a large regional one. So it's a community of quality of life thing that I think improved trail connections, bikeway connections. So I want to wrap up, but we're marking these things up on the plans, as well as creating a short list of kind of our wish list. There's some short-term things that I think Steve Berger mentioned he'd be willing to entertain with the project, so we're trying to identify those. Of course, then his department would determine what is practical. This design concept is back at the little park area that's at Sierra Madre and Washington on the left. So that'll be a destination, and we hope to accomplish this. I wanted to mention, in addition to some of the other community benefits, there are, I think, 60-some trees being planted along Washington, so we want to acknowledge and appreciate that. Many of the other county goals are being met with this project, and we just want to see if the project can be made a little bit better. Public Works for them to evaluate and see what might be incorporated with this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Moving on to land use, Diane Markison.
Yes, the Land Use Committee met on February 6th. We had no action items for that meeting, so there's no action to be taken tonight. I did, however, want to talk about a project that we worked on many years ago through land use for the Owen Brown, that included the Owen Brown grave site as a solution to Lavinia building that was going to be happening. The Owen Brown Committee is happy to announce that Supervisor Catherine Barger will resolve to have Owen Brown's grave site designated as an LA County Historic Landmark. The site was originally nominated by Altadena Heritage in 1989, but was unsuccessful at that time. And so gaining a landmark status is cause for community celebration for this. This will take place on February 27th at the regularly scheduled Board of Supervisor meeting that begins at 9:30 at 500 West Temple Street in Los Angeles. The public is invited, and we encourage you all to attend. Historic designation will protect the 5-acre site of our Altadena foothills from development, and the public will have access in perpetuity to this memorial of significant American state and local history. The grave site was one of a very few monuments to the cause of abolition of American slavery and to the Union side of the Civil War in California. By contrast, our state has more monuments and place names memorializing the Confederate side of the war than any state outside of the actual Confederate states. If you would like to submit a written comment or speak at the Board of Supervisor meeting, you can do so in person or online. For online, go to the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors website and click on the February 27th meeting. For written comments online, you must do so by 4 p.m. the day before, which is February 26th. If you want to live stream the meeting and speak for a minute, you must register the morning of the meeting by 9:30 a.m. Please join us, the Altadena Town Council and the Owen Brown Gravesite Committee in celebrating this historic designation achieved through years of tenacious Altadena activism by volunteers and the donation of the land and funding to restore it by Cantwell Anderson, the developer of Lavinia. So please, everybody, it's actually a really exciting thing. And if you haven't been up there, we've actually restored the gravesite now. There are benches, there are signs and interpretive signs up there that you can go learn about Owen Brown and some of our other historic people. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilmember Markison. Moving on to our Communications Committee, Councilmember Arnzen.
Thank you. Mine's real quick. It's kind of a repeat, but I'd like to put another pitch in to my fellow council members and residents that are eager to get involved. We can always use new committee members on a variety of programs. If you have the skills or time, the communication committee is kind of focused on improving our interaction with the community. So there's kind of a place for anybody, whatever your skill is. We've got our Unhoused Initiative. Vi is here, who is leading that with us. Our high school internship program, our media initiative. We definitely have pared back since last fall, but we have specific goals in mind. You can find information on the website. In particular, I'm planning to expand the welcome packs to new neighbors to Altadena. I'm going to make them Spanish-speaking as well as hopefully expand to renters in this coming year. We can use a lot of help with that. And finally, I can certainly use help on the welcome packs that we'll be assembling on March 1st. That's a Friday here at the center in the afternoon, late morning. So if you'd like to kind of have a hands-on, and we always have 3 or 4 great volunteers. So if you're looking to meet some new folks and help welcome the new folks, please reach out to me. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, we are moving on to general public comment. So generally how this works is Vice Chair Arnzen will call up, we have a number of public comments. So he'll call about 3 of you up, and if you want to line up at the podium, and then we'll go in order, and then he'll call the next group up, and Councilmember O'Malley will time, and we usually have about 2 minutes. So 2 minutes, and Councilmember Arnzen.
Great. Veronica, let's start with you, and on deck will be Ronnie, and then James, and then we'll get to the others. Please come right up to the podium.
Hello, my name is Veronica Badon, and I am Badon Tennis Academy over at Loma Alta Park. And first of all, I want to say that I'm so grateful to be teaching tennis at Loma Alta Park. I've been there for 22 years. I came a few months back and talked about the program, but this time I want to talk about the new registration system that the county has set in place that has eliminated my contract and the contract of several other sports businesses at the park. And they've basically now we have to come under their registration, my groups and my privates, and they are now taking over the administration of my business at the park. And that the effects of this have been negative on my business. But of course, I have to comply, of course, but I just want to make it aware to the community that it has had a negative impact on the way my business is run and whether or not my parents can easily sign up for classes. And of course, our fees have gone up to 40% from 30%, and that this has had a negative impact on my business.
Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. Next up, we have Ronnie Wynn. Hello, Ronnie.
Good evening, everybody. My issue is Charles White Park. I understand you guys are planning on putting in a pickleball court. Is that true?
The county is planning to, yes.
Okay, will there be lights?
Ronnie, I don't have all the information on that project. The county hasn't presented it in its final form to us yet, so there should be lights. I would imagine that the entire new development will be lit, but I don't know that for sure.
Well, the residents there would not like to have lights. Some of them don't want the pickleball court at all. And I will be getting in touch with them. They might be showing up next month along that line. And on Sundays, you have soccer there. Do they actually have a permit for that?
We generally don't answer, but I do want to say that I reached out to the supervisor of Charles White Park, and every vendor that is operating there on Sundays has an active permit and has paid their fees.
And residents are upset with all the trash that they leave within the neighborhood along that line.
Okay, we will make a note of that so we can pass that along to Parks.
And another thing is that here's Charles White Park, but on this month here, you guys do nothing in that park for Charles White. Nothing at all. Then Juneteenth comes up, you do nothing in that park at all for Charles White.
So we'll definitely make note of
Because
that.
I'm going to tell you the honest truth, I've been on that street since '66. And when there was homes were there before the park. And you guys want to talk about Charles White, but you're not doing nothing for Charles White. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ronnie. This will go to Jafina. Let's bring up James Willis.
I'm James Willis. I'm with the State Water Resources Control Board, the Division of Drinking Water. I'm a civil engineer, and I'm the state's assigned engineer to Rubio Canyon Land and Water. I'm making this comment because of a complaint that was CC'd to some of the council concerning issues at RCLWA, which provides drinking water to part of your community. In September 2022, I did a full inspection of the facilities at Rubio Canyon Land and Water and found no issues. And recently, I inspected the plant and reservoir in question, and I asked the complainant to come show me specifics, come along with me, and they declined. So the result of my second inspection or recent inspection was there were no issues. And I just want to let you guys know that because I know stuff like this will cause problems among a lot of people. So if the council have any questions, I know you're not allowed to ask now, but you can reach me at my Glendale office. I have the number and was on the card, and my email also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thanks for coming to clarify that. Appreciate it.
Council, I'll retain this if you want to get a hold of Ronnie. Daryl, let's bring you up next, and Karen, can you be on deck?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Darrell Gay. I am owner-operator of First to Third Baseball and Softball Training, which is also out of Loma Alta Park. I won't so much regurgitate exactly what Ms. Veronica said, but I am also experiencing the same thing. I've owned it for 2002/3, so we're talking, 2013, I'm sorry. So we're talking 10, 11 years. We've given back to plenty of the community. And so we've seen it go from the 20% thing to this 30% thing to this 40% thing, which seems like it's gotten to a point where a public park is completely being micromanaged. But not to so much regurgitate her, my biggest problem besides that is the park, both Farnsworth and Loma Alta, both of these parks are located up against the mountains. We're literally in the mountains. One of the biggest problems that I've seen for years is when it's not daylight saving times and it's 5 o'clock. If I'm getting home at 5 o'clock and I have a kid, daughter, son, who wants to go outside at 5:30, well, it's dark. It's dark outside. And the park is the feeling at the park is not wanted. If you're not playing basketball, which they control the gym lights, or you're not on the tennis court, no disrespect, but those lights come on automatically. Farnsworth, Loma Alta, those lights come on automatically till 9:30 or 10. But if you're talking about the general purpose area, the grass, the baseball field, the entire, which encompasses 70% of the park, Farnsworth and Loma Alta, I believe those lights need to be on for safety purposes for anyone walking through the park. And on Google, the park says it's good for kids and the park closes at 9. Well, I can't have my daughter go do flips in the grass, but she can't do it in the gym because they'll say she might break the fire extinguisher. Well, why isn't the lights just on? So my biggest concern is safety for the community. We have coyotes howling at 5 o'clock, and it's very unsafe. Thank you.
Thank you. We will take your comments and Veronica's to Parks and get back with both of you.
Thank you. Karen?
Good evening, council members and audience. My job tonight is very simple, and that is to thank you for co-sponsoring the candidate forum that's coming up tomorrow night among the candidates for LA County Supervisor in the 5th District, which is the one that covers Altadena. And the forum will take place at Loma Alta Park up in the social hall, which is at the northern side of the park. It's where the little kid parking lot is. where the little kid playground is, excuse me, and there's parking next to there, so it's easier to access if you drive on up Lincoln and access it from there. 6:30 to 8:30 is the forum. All 5 candidates have been invited and have accepted the League of Women Voters invitation. Neighbors Building a Better Altadena is co-sponsoring with the League, along with the Town Council, the Altadena Libraries, the Chamber of Commerce, and Altadena Heritage. And we're so happy to have this nice coalition to present a meaningful conversation with these candidates. So we encourage everyone to come and bring your good questions, and we hope to see you there. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Karen. I'll see you there tomorrow night. Great. Sure. Dorothy has a question for you, Karen, before you go.
Hi. Will this be streamed at all?
No, it's not being streamed. We are going to be doing, we're sort of technically challenged among all of us. It's just ridiculous. But we will be having a recording that will then be posted on the League of Women Voters site. So better than nothing, right? Thanks.
Thanks, Karen. Is Wendy Silva here by any chance? She was going to come and make public comment about the Elliott Arts Magnet Benefit Auction, which this year is taking place at the Altadena Golf Course. And that will be that'll be on March 22nd. I believe it starts at 6 p.m. And there's a website that has tickets, but it'll be a silent auction. The auction funds will go toward they need a new stage for the auditorium, I think, is what they're raising funds for. So she was going to come to make public comments, so I'll make it on her behalf. So March 22nd at the Altadena Golf Course, and the community is welcome to come. Okay, does that wrap up public comment? Okay. Moving on to our census tract reports, 4602.
Great. Since we're wrapping up the night, I'll make this quick. In 4602 and in 4611, I wanted to announce the date of this year's Altadena Pride celebration will be Saturday, June 8th. That'll be the 3rd annual, and the bulk of the celebration happens in our tracks, so more info to come. I also wanted to acknowledge the loss of a local business owner, Mary Folkingham. In 4602, many thanks to Mary's friend and California sister, Melanie Arms, for these words of tribute. If you knew Mary Folkingham's design shop was right on Mariposa Avenue. Mary's first career was as a teacher, and she was well loved by students, parents, and colleagues alike. Having the courage to embark on a new career, she followed her passion for beautiful flowers and entered the world of floral design where, like teaching, creativity, caring, attention to detail, hard work, and long hours are essential. Mary had 3 locations over the course of her time. She first started on Colorado Boulevard, then Washington Boulevard, and last here in Altadena. She treasured the years in Altadena and enjoyed knowing and working with her Mariposa Street neighbors. Mary was admired for her creativity, vision, and imaginative use of floral materials. She was loved by her crew, those who worked for and with her. Mary truly loved being among the flowers. She was the butterfly of Mariposa Street. Filled with generosity of spirit, her genuine, warm, and loving personality drew people to her. We are all saddened by her sudden passing and will miss her, but we know our lives have been made better being touched by her. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, and she will be missed for sure. Okay, that brings us to a motion to adjourn. Can I have one?
I motion to adjourn.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for staying. Thank you.